The Ghost of the Stanley Hotel. Samantha had arrived at the Stanley Hotel, eager to begin working on her latest book. As she entered the hotel lobby, she couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation. She had heard about the hotel's reputation for being haunted and was hoping to experience something paranormal during her stay. The lobby was grand, with high ceilings and a large fireplace. Samantha checked in and was greeted warmly by the staff. She couldn't wait to explore the hotel and discover its secrets. As she made her way to her room, Samantha noticed the ornate decor and historical feel of the hotel. She felt like she had stepped back in time to a different era. She was determined to make the most of her time at the hotel and started to plan her itinerary. Samantha was a writer and loved to explore the paranormal. She had always been interested in ghosts and hauntings, and was hoping that the Stanley Hotel would provide her with some material for her book. She settled into her room, excited for what lay ahead.
During her check-in process, Samantha heard about the legend of the ghost of Mr. Stanley, the former owner of the hotel. She was told that many guests and staff members had reported strange occurrences, such as doors opening and closing on their own, ghostly apparitions, and unexplained noises. Samantha was fascinated by the stories and couldn't wait to investigate for herself. She learned that Mr. Stanley was a prominent businessman and owned the hotel in the early 1900s. His ghost was rumored to haunt the halls of the hotel to this day. Samantha started to notice some odd things happening around her, like flickering lights and cold spots. She began to wonder if there really was something paranormal going on in the hotel. She started to ask around, speaking to the hotel staff and guests who had experienced strange events. Many people had seen Mr. Stanley's ghost, and some had even spoken to him. Samantha was intrigued and wanted to find out more. As she delved deeper into the hotel's history, she learned about the various hauntings that had been reported over the years. She realized that there was a lot more to the hotel's past than she had initially thought. One day, while exploring the hotel, Samantha stumbled upon a locked door. She couldn't resist the urge to find out what was behind it and decided to investigate further. She asked the hotel staff about the door, but they were hesitant to speak about it. She was told that it was a storage room and that there was nothing of interest behind it. Samantha's curiosity got the better of her, and she began to research the room's history. She found out that the room had been closed off to the public for years, and that it had been the site of some mysterious disappearances in the past. Samantha became obsessed with the idea of uncovering the room's secrets, and decided to find a way to get inside. She asked around and found a hotel employee who was willing to help her. Together, they managed to find a key to the door and unlock it. What they found inside shocked them both. The room was filled with old furniture, cobwebs, and dust. But what caught Samantha's attention was a book that lay on the floor. As she picked up the book, Samantha realized that it was a diary that belonged to Mr. Stanley. She started to read through it, hoping to uncover some clues about the hotel's haunted past. But what she found was far more sinister than she could have ever imagined. As Samantha read through Mr. Stanley's diary, she began to uncover some disturbing details about the hotel's past. She read about a secret room that was used for nefarious activities, including illegal gambling and prostitution. Samantha was shocked and couldn't believe what she was reading. She started to wonder if the ghost of Mr. Stanley was trying to reveal the hotel's dark secrets to her. She decided to do some further investigation and spoke to some of the hotel staff who had been working there for years. She was told about strange occurrences that had happened in the hotel's past, including a murder that had taken place in one of the rooms. Samantha became even more obsessed with the idea of uncovering the truth about the hotel's past. She started to experience strange things herself, including hearing footsteps and whispers in the hallways. One night, Samantha was awoken by a strange noise coming from the hallway. She got out of bed and went to investigate. As she walked down the hallway, she noticed a door that was slightly ajar. She pushed it open and was shocked at what she saw. There, standing in front of her, was the ghostly figure of Mr. Stanley. He was staring at her with a look of anger and sadness in his eyes. Samantha was frozen with fear and couldn't move. She realized that the ghost of Mr. Stanley was trying to reveal something to her, but she wasn't sure what it was. Samantha was frightened by the encounter with the ghost of Mr. Stanley, but she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something important he was trying to tell her. She continued to search for clues and information about the hotel's past. She spoke to more of the hotel staff and guests who had stayed there in the past. She heard stories about strange occurrences, including doors that would open and close on their own, objects moving by themselves, and ghostly apparitions that would appear in the hallways. Samantha also started to experience more paranormal activity herself. She would hear whispers and voices in the middle of the night and would feel cold spots in her room. She became convinced that the ghost of Mr. Stanley was trying to communicate with her. One day, Samantha received a message from a psychic medium who claimed to have a connection with Mr. Stanley's ghost. The medium said that Mr. Stanley was trying to reveal a dark secret about the hotel's past, and that Samantha was the only one who could help uncover it. The medium arranged a meeting between Samantha and Mr. Stanley's ghost. Samantha was apprehensive but decided to go through with it. During the meeting, Mr. Stanley's ghost revealed the truth about the murder that had taken place in the hotel years ago. Samantha was shocked and saddened by the revelation. She realized that the ghost of Mr. Stanley had been trying to reveal the truth about the hotel's dark past all along, and that she had been chosen to uncover it. Armed with the knowledge about the murder that had taken place in the hotel, Samantha decided to do some further research to find out more about the victim and the circumstances surrounding their death. She dug through old newspapers and records and spoke to locals who had lived in the area for a long time. She found out that the victim was a young woman who had been staying at the hotel with her husband. They had gotten into an argument, and the husband had killed her in a fit of rage. Samantha was heartbroken by the tragic story and knew that she had to do something to honor the victim's memory. She arranged for a memorial service to be held in the hotel, inviting guests and staff to attend. During the service, Samantha spoke about the victim and the importance of remembering those who had been lost to tragic circumstances. As the service came to a close, Samantha noticed something strange happening in the room. A cold breeze swept through and the lights flickered. She felt a presence in the room and realized that the ghost of the victim was there with them. Samantha spoke to the ghost, apologizing for what had happened and promising to honor her memory. The ghost seemed to acknowledge her words and then vanished. Samantha felt a sense of peace and closure, knowing that she had helped to bring justice and closure to the victim's story. After the memorial service, Samantha started to notice a change in the hotel. The atmosphere felt lighter, and the staff and guests seemed to be more at ease. Samantha was happy to see that the victim's story had been acknowledged and that her memory was being honored. However, Samantha soon realized that there was still one loose end to tie up. She had to confront the ghost of Mr. Stanley once again and find out why he had chosen her to uncover the truth about the hotel's past. Samantha went back to the psychic medium and asked for their help in contacting Mr. Stanley's ghost. The medium arranged a meeting, and Samantha prepared herself for what would be her final encounter with the ghost. During the meeting, Mr. Stanley's ghost appeared to Samantha and revealed the truth about why he had chosen her. He had been watching her since she first arrived at the hotel and had been impressed by her curiosity and determination to uncover the truth. He explained that he had been trying to reveal the truth about the hotel's dark past for many years, but had been unsuccessful until Samantha arrived. He saw something special in her and knew that she was the one who could help him finally reveal the truth. Samantha was both honored and humbled by the revelation. She had never thought of herself as special, but she realized that sometimes it's the small actions that can lead to big changes. She thanked Mr. Stanley's ghost for choosing her and promised to continue to honor his memory and the memory of the victim. With the truth about the hotel's past finally revealed, Samantha felt a sense of closure. However, she knew that the hotel's reputation would still be tainted by its dark history. She decided to do something about it and came up with a plan to turn the hotel into a place of healing and hope. Samantha worked with the hotel's owners to create a program that would honor the victims of the hotel's past, while also providing support to those who had suffered from similar traumas. The program would offer counseling services, support groups, and a memorial garden to remember those who had been lost. Samantha also decided to write a book about her experiences at the hotel, detailing the history of the hotel and her journey to uncover the truth. She hoped that by sharing her story, she could inspire others to stand up for what is right and help bring justice to those who have been wronged. The book was a success, and Samantha was invited to speak at events and conferences around the country. Her message of hope and healing resonated with many people, and the hotel's program became a model for other institutions to follow. Samantha continued to work with the hotel and the program, knowing that there was still much work to be done. However, she was proud of what she had accomplished and knew that she had made a positive impact on the hotel's legacy. As time passed, Samantha continued to visit the Stanley Hotel and remained in contact with the staff and guests. She was happy to see that the hotel had become a place of healing and hope, and that the victims of the hotel's past were finally being acknowledged. One day, Samantha received a letter from the hotel's owners, inviting her to a special ceremony. When she arrived, she was surprised to see that the ceremony was in her honor. The hotel's owners and staff had decided to name one of the hotel's rooms after Samantha, to honor her for her contributions to the hotel and the program. Samantha was overcome with emotion and thanked everyone for the honor. She knew that the real heroes were the victims of the hotel's past and the people who had worked to uncover the truth. However, she was proud to be a part of the hotel's history and to have played a small role in bringing justice to those who had been wronged. As Samantha looked out over the beautiful Colorado mountains, she knew that her journey at the Stanley Hotel had come full circle. She had come to the hotel as a curious journalist, hoping to uncover a story. However, she had left the hotel as a changed person, with a new perspective on life and a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that the ghosts of the Stanley Hotel would always be a part of her, but she was no longer afraid of them. Instead, she embraced them as a reminder of the power of truth and the resilience of the human spirit. Years had passed since Samantha's last visit to the Stanley Hotel. She had moved on with her life, married, and had children. One day, while looking through old photographs, Samantha came across pictures of her time at the Stanley Hotel. Memories flooded back, and she felt a sudden urge to revisit the hotel. Samantha convinced her family to take a vacation to Colorado and stay at the Stanley Hotel. Her husband was hesitant, but Samantha reassured him that the hotel was no longer haunted and that it had undergone major renovations since their last visit. However, Samantha couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. She noticed that the hotel was eerily quiet, and the staff seemed nervous and hesitant to talk to her. Samantha tried to ignore her feelings, but the unease continued to grow. Late one night, while everyone was asleep, Samantha was awakened by a strange sound. She listened carefully and realized that it was coming from the closet. Samantha hesitated, but her curiosity got the best of her, and she opened the closet door. To her horror, she found a hidden room behind the closet, and inside, there was a strange ritual altar with candles and symbols etched into the walls. Samantha knew that something was very wrong, and she feared for her family's safety. She quickly woke up her husband and children, and they fled the hotel in the middle of the night. Samantha never returned to the Stanley Hotel and never spoke about her experience there again. After Samantha's terrifying experience at the Stanley Hotel, she couldn't shake off the feeling that something was following her. She started having nightmares and waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. Samantha's husband, worried about her mental health, suggested that they see a therapist. The therapist encouraged Samantha to talk about her experience at the Stanley Hotel and helped her process her trauma. During one therapy session, Samantha learned that the former owner of the hotel, Freeland Stanley, had been deeply involved in the occult and had held secret rituals in the hidden room behind the closet. Samantha realized that the hotel was indeed haunted, and that the ghosts were not just residual energy, but were actual spirits that had been summoned by Freeland Stanley's rituals. Samantha's therapist advised her to seek closure by returning to the hotel and facing her fears. Samantha was hesitant, but with the support of her family, she returned to the Stanley Hotel. This time, she was determined to confront the ghosts and find peace. As soon as Samantha entered the hotel, she felt a strong presence, but this time she didn't feel afraid. She knew that she was ready to face the ghosts and put her fears to rest. Samantha stayed at the hotel for a few days, and during that time, she felt the ghosts' presence, but they didn't harm her. Samantha finally found closure and was able to move on from her traumatic experience at the Stanley Hotel. As Samantha was preparing to leave the Stanley Hotel, she decided to take one last walk around the property. As she walked through the halls, she felt a sudden chill and heard a faint whisper behind her. Samantha turned around, but saw no one. She continued to walk, and the whisper grew louder, and she felt a presence behind her. Suddenly, she saw a shadowy figure in front of her, and she froze. The figure slowly started to take shape, and Samantha realized that it was the ghost of Freeland Stanley, the former owner of the hotel. She was terrified, but remembered her therapist's advice to confront her fears. Samantha spoke to the ghost, telling him that she was there to find closure and that she didn't mean any harm. The ghost stared at her for a moment and then slowly faded away. Samantha knew that she had finally found peace and closure. As she left the hotel, she felt a weight lifted off her shoulders, and she knew that she could finally move on from her traumatic experience. From that day on, Samantha no longer had nightmares, and she felt like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She knew that she had overcome her fear and had finally found the closure she needed.